I know Top War has a habit of releasing new heroes that are basically better than anything else out there, so you feel obligated to get it and spend money, but this guy just takes the cake. Maximo is beyond broken. We'll take a quick look at his bio before moving to his exclusive skill. We find out he was the mentor to Selena. He's also part of the Sand organization, which is basically this game's equivalent of a spy organization, yet he's famous. A famous spy, because that makes sense. He's a pretty boy with an ever-changing fighting style, and he doesn't necessarily get along with some of the other generations in the Freedom League. While the younger generation really likes him, the older generation believes he's reckless and unreliable, which I really could have told you that just by looking at him. And yes, it's a him. It says so in his bio, his ever-changing fighting technique. Now let's go over why I think Maximo is completely broken. And spoiler alert, yes, if you have an Air Force in any way, shape, or form, you need this hero without a doubt. But his exclusive skill is called Laser Shot. Now the first portion of his ability only applies to Air Force, and it only applies to the units that are in the front row. Slots 1, 2, and 3. If they're Air Force, he's able to decrease their damage taken by 150% at max stats. That is absolutely nuts. The second portion of his ability only applies to the units that are in the middle row, so slots 4, 5, and 6. Whenever those units attack, there's a chance that they'll trigger a laser attack, and this laser attack attacks a column, so it'll attack from front to back just like a normal Air Force unit would. So for example, it would hit slots 1, 4, and 7, if that was the column that you were attacking. Not only does this laser attack have an incredibly high proc chance, which I was watching my battles, I will show one in this video. There was almost no times where the middle units didn't proc his ability. I don't know if it's a bug, but it was broken as heck. And not only does it trigger very often, it'll do 200.2% damage at max stats, which is just nuts. And to make it even worse, if an Air Force unit is the one that triggers that ability, he lights all those units on fire. And before they attack, they're going to take an additional 89.9% burning damage before they're able to attack. Oh, but it doesn't end there. His equipable exclusive skill increases the percentage of all his skill effects by a percentage depending on what level you have. However, it doesn't increase the chance of its ability triggering, not that he needs it. Again, I will show that momentarily, but just like every other hero they've been releasing, he gets extra abilities at exclusive level 3, 5, and 7. At level 3, he's able to increase the attack of Air Force units by 30%. At level 5, you get the global damage decrease of 3%, which means he doesn't have to be in the battle for this. He just has to have a level 5 exclusive skill equipped, and it affects all marches. And at level 7, when this hero participates in battle, increased damage of all Air Force units by 15%, and the burning damage from his laser shot by 30%. God help all Navy. Now I set up a battle here against Sand Table, and I only put units in the middle row so you could see how often his ability is proccing. There's a Navy unit in there to show that ignition doesn't work when it's not Air Force, but the Air Force units, of course, light him on fire. Now, if I sound a little exasperated in this video, panicking even, well, that's because I'm a Navy main, and of course I don't like it when Air Force heroes get strong heroes, but the thing that makes this guy the most broken is the fact that his ability procs dang near every single time. Oh, it missed one. That one didn't proc, but it procced like 5 or 6 other times instead. I cannot believe how often this guy procs. It has to be a bug. Top War, please do something. I am terrified of this Air Force hero. I don't like him. I don't want to fight him. I don't want to. Now let's go over the strengths and weaknesses of Maximo. Obviously, I've been touting his strengths this whole time. He's a ridiculous hero. Now, I do think he is going to be rather exceptional on defense because the majority of people are going to attack the front row. Obviously, some heroes, Valhalla units and stuff can get past the front row, but the majority of people attack the front row first. And since he's able to give a damage decrease to that front row, I think he's going to be exceptional on defense. As far as his weaknesses, I don't think weaknesses is a good name for it. How about this is the best you can do to counter him? Of course, he's Air Force, and a lot of his abilities depend on Air Force units, so Army is going to be useful against him, but more importantly, anything that's going to jump the front row is going to be helpful. So Valhalla units that attack random targets, so they have the potential of passing those front units. Other Air Force units who can attack in columns so they can get past that front row. Hero skills that have random procs. Anything that can get to that, potentially that middle row. Now, Precious is something that's come up, but unfortunately Precious is not going to be able to attack the middle row until that back row is destroyed, so it's going to take a little while for him to be able to really help. So I think the best options to attack against Maximo are just any heroes that have random proccable abilities that have a chance of hitting that middle row. I mean, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of hitting the middle row if you're attacking a random target. So that's probably the best you're going to get, because you need to take away that damage as quickly as possible. Because it is not unreasonable for those 3 units in the middle to attack and light your entire army on fire. Because since the Air Force attacks in columns and that laser has an almost guaranteed chance of going off, as soon as those 3 units in the middle attack, your entire march is going to be on fire. Now we'll go ahead and look at the pairings for Maximo. Of course, Aya is going to be my #1 pick. She's able to increase the HP of the units in the front row, as well as those back 2 rows, dealing extra damage. Now, it is possible for her and Maximo to proc on the same stack, so you can get both of their abilities triggering in one attack, which is absolutely ridiculous. Selena is another good option. She's able to increase the HP of all Air Force units, as well as increase the attack of the units in the back 2 rows. So Selena and Aya are going to be broken combinations for Maximo. If you're still working with some of the free heroes, I would go with Rockfield. He's able to attack all units. Maybe Suru if you keep going up against level differences or bigger march sizes, because Rockfield does get reduced damage if you have to go up against things like that. If you're short on orange heroes, Ricardo is the good, reliable purple hero to be using. As far as the skills and perks that I would recommend on Maximo, of course, you're going to want his exclusive skill, since it is absolutely overpowered. You're going to want it as high level as you're able to make it. A march size increase, attack increase, and a damage increase. As far as the perks, once you get him to 5-star, you'll want an all-unit attack and HP, as well as Air Force attack and HP. I always like to rag on Air Force in a lot of my videos, but that's just because I'm a Navy main. Of course, it's a perfectly valid form of playing, and Maximo, if you're running Air Force, even if it's your secondary, Maximo is definitely someone you're going to want to work on, and I cannot see this guy going the way of the dodo for quite a long time. It's going to be a while until he is replaced as an Air Force hero, because I believe he is by far the strongest Air Force hero that's out right now, which means at the minimum, this is going to be a valid Air Force hero for at least 9 months. So definitely recommend getting him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I the only one who thinks this guy's absolutely broken? I know the new heroes are always way better than the old heroes, but is this guy like more so than others, or am I just being biased since I'm Navy? Let me know. Don't forget to drop a like while you're down in the comments. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. Don't forget to check out my Discord so you can vote on future Top War Hero Spotlights. You can find a link for that in the description below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a fantastic day. You think him and Selena are dating? No, I don't think she'd go for a pretty boy like that.